So we're going to say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Yes, I love to say that. All right, today we're going to meet who? Mr. Stokely Carmichael. And this is an interesting one. This is a little more interesting than Miss Lucy Gonzalez, who I did a couple of days ago. So, Mr. Stokely Carmichael, a nonviolent freedom rider of SNCC, turned to a Black Panther. All about the smoke, baby. He was a West Indian-born civil rights activist, a leader of Black nationalism in the United States in the 1960s, and the orator, the original. During a rally, he said Black Power, and later it was taken a year later by the Black Panther Party in Oakland, California. So Stokely was born June 29th, 1941 in Port of Spain, Trinidad. The Stokeleys moved from Trinidad to New York when he was 11. Carmichael immigrated to New York City in 1952, attended high school in the Bronx, and enrolled in Howard University in 1960. He received a scholarship from MLK and his buddies in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, where they awarded student activists to help them with their tuition and to make bail. He graduated from Howard in 1964. Then Carmichael learned about the sit-in movement while he was in college, actually. And he was all about desegregation, child. He joined the activists. He joined as an activist for the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, protesting in New York City against the Woolworth stores. They originated in the South and they were segregated in the South, so he got his friends together and said, we go boycott them. He also, from there, joined or linked up with people from SNCC, which is the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and the Nonviolent Action Group. Stokely organized several boycotts and had protests ranging from hospitals in New York that were segregated to freedom rides all the way to the great state of Mississippi, where I'm from. And baby, he was brave to go to Mississippi. But yeah, he was on the bus, wanted to desegregate and trying to force desegregation of buses on the interstate of Greyhound buses. So if you didn't know what freedom riders are, I kind of take for granted that some people don't know or do know civil rights. Unfortunately, it's not being taught, and I didn't even learn about a lot of this stuff until I went on my own little documentary YouTube tangent years back, baby. But anyways, so back to Mr. Carmichael. In 1961, Carmichael was one of several freedom riders and later became the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinated Committee. So this is while he was in college. For all those who say they can't do whatever, can't work a job and all this stuff, this dude was being arrested, being on, boycotting, doing freedom rides. Yes, he was supported by a scholarship, but he was doing the most in his 4 years at Howard. After the Selma to Montgomery March in 1965, Carmichael stayed in Alabama to help the rural African Americans outside of Selma from the Lowndes County Freedom Organization. I lived in Alabama shortly. I was told that Lowndes County is called Bloody Lowndes, baby. I made sure I zoomed like a Yamaha through that on 65 South. Anyways, so Lowndes County Freedom Organization was actually the first all-black independent political group that became known as the Black Panthers Party. Yes, Mr. Stokely is the one who coined that. Later, Bobby Seale and Huey Newton would borrow the Black Panther symbol and the Black Panther Party name in Oakland, California in October of 1966. And they would take his rally cry, Black Power, that I will go into in a little bit. Let's see. Carmichael had always seen nonviolence as a tactic rather than a guiding principle. So in May 1966, Carmichael replaced John Lewis as chairman of SNCC, and yes, that is the late great Congressman John Lewis, and moved that shifted that the students movement would be going from nonviolent to black militancy, In June of 1966, Floyd Kissick organized marched, because, you know, one is a noun, one is a verb. They did both for James Meredith. One, when they were marching from Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi, which is 220 miles. And we can't go somewhere else from Target. But 220 miles, they walked in Hernando, Mississippi. James Meredith was shot. And so they organized another march to protest him being shot. And of course, the lack of anything being done for Mr. Meredith being shot, which of course, as we know, would not be the last time, because, you know, he was murdered and his murderer wasn't found until like 2000s. So during this organization meeting with Kissick and MLK, and now the new SNCC chairperson, who is Mr. Stokely, King and Stokely had a conversation, or Carmichael, his last name, had a conversation, and the two engaged in a debate about the future of the civil rights movement, Black radicalism, and the potential for integration. When the march reached Greenwood, Mississippi, Carmichael was arrested for the 27th time, 27 times, y'all, and arrested in Mississippi. And I'm from Mississippi, born and raised, baby, and I don't go past Jackson. And if you do go past Jackson, Mississippi, stay your behind on the interstate. And don't divvy off the interstate, you know, for them gas stations, boo, until you get to Memphis. Because, yeah, we don't go up that way that much. And yes, I've lived in Jackson, and there is a completely different attitude towards race, even in like 2018 to I stayed there from 2014 to 2018. And I worked in a state agency, and I could feel the difference between what was going on in Jackson versus how we roll on the coast. Anyways, let me hurry up and finish, child, because this is a lot of good tea. This dude, he after his release from being arrested in Greenwood, Mississippi for the 27th time, he called out Black Power. That's where it came from. And Martin Luther King Jr. disapproved. A few years into his activism, you know, he was just super disillusioned by what was going on and how nonviolence was not doing anything. He called it irrelevant. Him and MLK, he was just like, you know, I understand why he would see this as irrelevant, because he's seen with his own eyes the most brutal white violence against Negroes and white civil rights workers, because there was white persons as well that were killed and maimed and arrested, and he's seen them go unpunished. I mean, and that still happens, unfortunately, to this day. In 1967, Stokely accepted an invitation to become prime minister of the militant Oakland-based Black Panther Party. In 1969, he left because they were trying to get down with radical whites, and he was like, nah, bam, that ain't what we doing. And so then he changed his name to Kwame Ture and moved to Guinea, where he helped form an all-African People's Revolutionary Party in 1972. And then he died much later of cancer in November 1998. So he did activism. He was, you know, say it loud, we're Black and we're proud. And he was like, baby, we ain't turning the other cheek. I didn't turn my cheek 27 times and ain't nothing else happened. So then he was ready for the smoke. You hear me? But yeah, all of this, actually, I forgot to name my sources in the previous video, but this came from the Encyclopedia Britannica, A for old school, but it was online. I used to use an encyclopedia when I was a kid. And also from Stanford University website. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Stokely Carmichael, who was about it. He was about it. You ready to get them hands, baby. He was tired of being slapped around. In the good old words of my fellow Mississippian, Franny Lou Hamer, he was sick and tired of being sick and tired. All right, y'all. That's the Black History Tea. Catch you tomorrow. Bye.